Guys, welcome to the Vlad Catcher Show, the #1 show for founders, execs, and entrepreneurs who are scaling their businesses. This video is presented by NinjaTech, and we have an amazing interview for you today with its founder and CEO, Babak Pahlavan, about how he created and scaled the business. Babak, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Vlad, for having me. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you. Well, tell us, Babak, what's the origin story? How did NinjaTech come about?
It's a little bit of one of those stories that my co-founder and I have known each other for 20 plus years. We met in high school, and we actually first back then we had this thought process. We had this sort of dream of, can we build computer software that can actually do intelligent things? That was our original idea back then, and then we built a speech-to-text software in Farsi back in the late 90s. Back in our home country, we won a national award. He and I became like very, very tight friends. And fast forward 20 years later, I came to the States with our family. I did undergrad at Berkeley, grad at Stanford. This is technically my fourth company. Last one, we were fortunate enough that we got acquired by Google, and that was also an assistant solution. So I did that part, and then I was at Google for 11 years. And then Arash, my CTO and co-founder, he did the sort of academic route. He did his PhD and postdoc in AI. His postdoc was in Oxford, and then he was at AWS for 6 years. And we kept talking about like doing another company. We were all itching for this. And we had another co-founder as well, who's currently at Microsoft. His name is Sam. We're all good friends, and we thought about sort of how do we sort of create. And this is where sort of I was coming out of Google, and I thought about doing this within Google as well. This is when ChatGPT hadn't launched yet. I left Google in October. ChatGPT launched in November, and the whole thought process that back then we had was, can we build computer software that can actually build software, essentially, and then do the work. Like our big thing is, can you have sort of AI that can do work for you, not just like interact with you. And it's been 2.5 years of R&D and lots of iterations, and we're finally here, and it's an incredible time, I think, to be alive in general, just because now we have these magical sort of technologies in our fingertips, but also how sort of Arash and I became coming back full circle again. So we started out from our humble beginnings of like building the speech-to-text assistants, and now all of a sudden we're in this mode of being able to build agentic solutions that can build and deploy very sophisticated software, and go from idea to finished deployed solution in a matter of minutes, something that would take weeks to do, even in our company. And it's just it's a surreal moment. It's exciting. It has its own, it's challenging, but net it's for us it's like a beautiful moment to be in.
And can you tell us more about how the product works and some specific use cases for businesses?
Yeah, so our tagline and what sort of our thinking has been, it's about like sort of build anything, automate everything, essentially. So that's our tagline, and the mission and is to sort of collapse the time to go from an idea to impact, and we think this technologies such as ours will actually improve productivity at scale once these are scaled, and a lot of companies are also operating in this space. I think the overall civilization's productivity is going to increase quite a bit. And coming back to your question about like how it works, specifically it's about AI agents. Currently it's about sort of, they usually have like some sort of tools. So they have a browser, they can do tool calling, they can do some things essentially. But usually the ultimate power of an AI agent shows up when you actually give it a full computer, a full virtual machine. This unlocks sort of near infinity of possibilities, because now it's as if you've hired a department of programmers and designers and product managers with their own computers in hand, and you basically can ask it to create, for example, you want to say, hey, I wanted you to build an intelligent dashboard for me, and go research certain sort of competitive landscapes, and then come back and analyze it, go analyze our products, and then come up with marketing strategies, sales strategies, or even product features. And oh, by the way, do this every single day. And then by really try to even prototype, even build prototypes of the thing that you're asking us to build in order to boost our revenues or services. Like, it sounds very sort of sci-fi type of a thing, but it's actually not possible. The system, what it does, it goes through a planning mode. It creates a plan, and our specific technology is about deploying in real time a cloud computer, a virtual machine, hands it to the agent, and this is done for every single task. So you can have nearly infinite number of these things essentially, and so that's one key element. The second key element is that for each part of the task, which might include tool calling, APIs, creating new software, installing new software to support all the dependencies, we were one of the pioneers of this thing called Code Act, which means that it actually uses LLMs to code. And because we have an environment, we execute the code. Code doesn't lie, code doesn't hallucinate, it either works or it doesn't, essentially. But it requires this entire orchestration system to work flawlessly end to end. So yeah, and it ends up essentially writing code, executing it, it finds bugs, it debugs it, and it does it enough times until it achieves the goal. If it runs into major problems, it actually comes back and asks questions, and then human users and the agents with computers in hands, they collaborate in order to finish the task, essentially. And when you watch it in action, it's a very beautiful thing, because now you're seeing this agent sort of come to life, deploy the computer, do the work, and then if it runs into issues, it asks you stuff, and then you watch it work, essentially. And the best thing about it, there's nothing to install. It's all cloud-based. You just get an account and off you go. There's no system. It doesn't touch your files on your computers, and everything is private and secure, because each sandbox is its own VM, and everything runs on a state-of-the-art AWS infrastructure. So it's all US-based, and it's all following the protocols of safety and security. So that's what it does.
Babak, it seems that your product could be used for coding, for writing, for research, for images, for video. That's pretty incredible, right? Like, so it seems that NinjaTech can be used for so many different things. How difficult was it building this technology? Because it seems, quite complicated.
Yes, it's been 2.5 years of R&D and iteration. And in fact, it's very timely that you and I are talking about this, and we've been in communications for a while, because the culmination of that much R&D and iteration is going to start to show up in the next 4 weeks or so, because we're launching the full evolution of this entire technology by rolling out agentic app building. So you could do all of this and it would build software. But one thing that we noticed was that a lot of times people will come, they would use the platform in order to do the work. So build me this automated system, or build me a resume because I'm applying for this job, or build me sort of an infographic for my presentations, or build me a presentations, or build this automatic system that based on certain inputs or certain MCP connectors would do certain things. They were using the platform, but we noticed that a lot of times, like we have 15,000 paying customers at this point. We have users that wake up every single day and then they come and ask the system to do the same thing with a slightly different inputs. Then we had this aha moment that what they're really asking for is an agentic application, because a lot of times you have certain, the main promise of AI is automation. Like, we are entering this era, sort of the big boom was industrial revolution, the last time that like humanity went through this. The belief is that AI is going to enable the new phase of automation, which is going to amplify humanity's productivity. Like each human is all of a sudden potentially can have an output of 10 or 50 or 100. I mean, we are already seeing this. We are internally, we are currently 34 people, but our output, as you're saying, it's as if we are a 150% probably company, because we are using our own agents to write code, to monitor things, to do all kinds of automations internally within ourselves, right? So we are already living through that of amplification of productivity with us. But back to the sort of the thing that's launching at it's about this idea that what there are people, our system is agentic, right? So it does a lot of the automations. What people are asking for is they want to create an actually app that would be agentic. So they would love to have a system that would actually have these agents inside of them. So instead of using the platform, this major sort of very powerful system, they want to have an application that currently they have to go pay someone to go create it for them, because building agentic applications are tough. It's different to use AI to create applications, but if you want something, for example, that does deep research for you, those are agents, because they need states. They need the stateful sort of operations and all kinds of interactions with LLMs and context sort of management and all kinds of things. So our technology, we realize is very much suited for building agentic applications. So you will build an agent, and then instead of using the platform, you would just use that going forward. And better yet, you would distribute that to your friends or colleagues. So then we realized that, furthermore, some people would have the time and knowledge to build really, really powerful agentic applications, but then others want to mostly use them. So that's why there's this hundreds of thousands of AI sort of type app wrapper, AI wrapper type of products and solutions that are out there. But what if you could just create them all using one platform and then distribute it? So we are launching essentially our agentic app creator on top of the platform, and an agent store. So within a month, there's going to be an agent store that you can go and you can use the platform to create it, or you can just pick from agents that have been already created, and then either you can use it as it is, it deploys the VMs and start using it with its own custom user experience, or you can customize it and build on top of it. That's the beauty. It's kind of like it becomes like GitHub, but for agents. It sounds a little bit too techy, but going back to the original point of how difficult it's been very difficult. But one thing that has been changing is the sort of the quality of models that can code. So our entire thing is about coding in real time and debugging, essentially, and having an environment to do it in a safe and secure way, and doing the orchestration. And the models, specifically models from Anthropic, and now so the Opus 4.5, and now Gemini 3.0, and also OpenAI's Codex is pretty good as well. They have changed drastically. Like doing what we're doing right now, it's kind of odd to say, because we were hitting these walls. Like they couldn't do like very sophisticated things, but literally in Q4 of last year, the model's quality just stepped up significantly. And now these models can do a lot of sophisticated things, provided they have the right environments, and then the right tools at their disposal, and computers, essentially. So that's been a game changer. And it's it made it possible. So the orchestration layer is our core technology, and something that we've been working toward. But these models have become so sophisticated, and if you have a system that can run them for hours and hours, now all of a sudden you can build very, very sophisticated applications. And we're using that system to improve our system. So this sounds very sci-fi, but we were stuck on this pesky bug internally with the GitHub integration on our system. And we were like grappling with it, because our code base is very large at this point. And we launched Super Ninja on top of it. We gave access to its own code base to itself, and we asked it to find a specific bug. So this is doing open heart surgery on itself at this point. And to our shock, it found it. It created a PR. One of our lead engineers reviewed it, submitted it, and then the bug was fixed. That's when we realized that, okay, we're in a different territory right now. This is different. This is no longer sort of the even the mid 2025 essentially. So the possibilities are just have expanded dramatically, and with our thinking that basically it's less about sort of getting people to use the platform. It's about really trying to figure out, okay, they want automations, they want to do certain things in an automated way, give them the ability to build agentic applications that would essentially enable automations, allow them to just use that or build on top of it. This to us is a game changer, and that's what we're launching in the next few weeks. This wasn't possible even 6 months ago. This is how fast this whole world is moving. And I know elongated answer, but you asked how difficult it's been. I have to say, at the beginning, it was very, very difficult because the technology wasn't mature enough. But now that we built all of these layers, and now the models' qualities have gone far so much, the coding ones especially, because it's all about coding in our world. Now it's the game is changing, and hopefully our users and our customers can reap the benefits of all of this R&D that we've gone through, as well as all the sort of proprietary model providers, as well as the open source model providers. Oh, and that's the other thing about our stuff. We realized customers want flexibility and they want choice in terms of models, but in terms of cost, essentially. So instead of giving them one thing, we've made our system to be flexible enough that it can use a variety of model providers, open source and proprietary.
And Manos just got acquired by Facebook not too long ago. And the question I'd like to ask you is, what do you guys do to kind of compete with some of these super well-funded AI companies?
Yeah, so hats off to the Manos team. They have been iterating pretty rapidly as well, and they have a good product. Our technology and our product is the most similar actually to Manos. As you said, Meta acquired them for 2 billion plus, between 2 to 3 billion in December of this year. I think we're it's a huge market. Sort of the agentic market and agentic application building market seems to be sort of growing very, very rapidly. It's supposed to be reaching sort of 100 billion plus by 2030, essentially. So the market size is huge, because the whole concept of automation and software creation and who can do it, all the rules of the games are being rewritten. There's about total of like 30 million developers in the world or so. Estimates go up and down, but obviously we have 3.5 billion internet connected users, and there's like 7.2 billion of population of Earth, right? Very soon, just like that most people have like a mobile phone in their hands, pretty much most people around the world actually have a smartphone in their hands. I do think we're going to get to a point that people are going to have agents for themselves, and these agents are not they're not making phone calls and stuff for you. They're actually going to automate your life, and they're going to start doing tasks for you. And then behind the scenes, we believe the way to do it is coding, because with coding you can you have more certainty, and you have more deterministic sort of output, as opposed to hallucination and challenges that come with those. So the market is expanding on multiple sides of it, both on the business side as well as prosumer side, and then the latter will be like full-on consumers that are using these technologies, and it's going to be huge. So there's a huge market. Number two, on our side, we're focused on professional customers primarily, and businesses. Manos seems to be purely focused on consumer side, although we have a pretty big sort of consumer base as well. But B2B is what's really growing on our side, and what we're going to focus on. And specifically, we are going to be focused on agentic sort of complex tasks, as well as agentic application building. such that now instead of using the platform every day to do the work, you create an agentic app where you take one of those that's already there, and then you just use that with an user experience that's tailored for that specific thing. If for example, agentic presentation building is what you need, you should use our agentic app for that, not the platform. And very soon, we're going to sort of enable probably hundreds, if not thousands, of agentic applications in our store, hopefully, as we go through in the year. So that's going to be our main focus, automation. Really focus on automation and on the business side. And then lastly, we built our own sandboxing and VM technology. I think Manos and others, and maybe with the acquisition Meta, this is going to change. They're using third parties for doing those kinds of things. We built our own on top of AWS in our partnership with them. It's possible to bring it to GCP as well. The technology is sort of can run on there as well, and potentially Azure as well. But we are seeing a lot of demand from customers who want to run not only the agentic apps, but also even the whole platform in their own cloud environments. So they have maximum control over it. So that way they have, for example, if they have a air gap type of a requirement that they don't want data to leave their premises, our system and our architecture supports that. So as we grow the team, those are the areas that we're going to further focus on, such that customers and businesses can have an instance of Super Ninja inside their own cloud environment and be able to run it end to end on their end. And they would just connect it to their own, LLM source and whatnot, and they would have like maximum control over cost, privacy, data, the whole thing essentially, right? So that's our focus more and more going forward.
And who's the ideal ICP for NinjaTech?
So we have two cohorts. These are sort of either professional individuals and that are solo entrepreneurs. So these are people who are sophisticated in their job, and they know, like we have lawyers using us, we have accountants, we have obviously a lot of engineers, but what excites us and what inspires us are people that are non-engineers. They're experts in their own field. They have an idea what their customers want, or they have an idea what are the things that they're doing daily that's repetitive that they want to automate it. They just can't hire business software engineers and product managers and build an infrastructure behind it and whatnot. That's a whole different skill set. You can hire people to kind of do this. It costs a lot of money, but also even the discipline of like how to orchestrate and project management, product manage, you need expertise to do that. So now we're seeing a lot of solo entrepreneurs and individual experts that are using the platform to build tools and applications for themselves. So that's a big cohort that we're observing that are using the platform fairly obsessively. Our retention rate is 89% so far, and with very little ads that we're running. We don't run any ads and whatnot. So and then they just keep coming back to it. And then the other parts are businesses, startups, and companies in the sort of a 25 to the biggest one that we have is 500 person company at this point, that they're using it again for a lot of the research and creations of internal websites and artifacts, and also now very recently tools, automations, essentially, which led us to believe that, we need to lean into this. We need to focus on enabling them to create their own agentic apps and automations, and then keep using that, because we're already seeing a bifurcation of cohorts of users that are creators that create something, and then they give it to consumers of those creations, essentially. So that's what's leading us to think that, okay, so we're going to create our own agent store, and then we're going to seed it with a bunch of agents ourselves. And then we're going to we believe that a lot of people are going to adopt those agents, and some of them are going to take it and then build on top of it, iterate it, and then send it back to their own colleagues and cohorts of users. But in general, though, like you have folks that, and that's what Lovable noticed as well. That's what the others are noticing, that then you have platforms that solo entrepreneurs or people who have an idea what needs to be done, and they can talk about it, they can mention it, but they need an expert to go help build it for them, essentially. And that's what we're seeing on our end too, but especially more on the professional side and businesses. But one thing that's, and if I may like diverge slightly, there's a lot of I think anxiety, and rightful anxiety about sort of impact of AI on jobs, and especially entry level jobs and whatnot. We are noticing a different pattern. We think there's a really good, and this is going to manifest. I think this is already happening, but it's going to accelerate, of inviting all of that 3.5 billion minus 30 million developers, that entire larger cohort of humanity that's using internet, to come and join the sort of the internet and software development industry using AI. So now all of a sudden, I think we will have, it's highly likely that by the next decade, we will have 1 billion or more developers. They're not coding themselves. They're relying on these software solutions to code, and they can join the internet economy. Beyond, so obviously a huge cohort of people that are using internet, and they're using it to build a business and flourish, are sort of the cohort of influencers, obviously. So using the platforms to create content, engage in conversations, and to do that. But I think we will see a big boom effect of it, that even a bigger set of masses are going to be able to now write software, build automations, create companies and tools, and be able to build internet-powered companies. So I think that monopoly is going to break dramatically. That the ability to build an internet-powered company that can scale to all of humanity, and with a click of a button, now you have a store that's open, you have a product that's open, anybody from around the world can use it. But that monopoly has been focused on people that are experts in the field, right? They can write code, and they can also communicate and connected to disciplines of like product, all the disciplines of UX design, product management, project management, development, go to market. All of those things are now going to be available via AI to non-technical users, right? And that's going to create probably an insane sort of prosperity, and it's going to be a massive equalizer around the world. That's something that we're going to live through, and I think that's been sort of very sort of powerful job creation impact of AI is going to be felt in the next few years. But in order to do that, you need platforms that can actually build and deploy and do sophisticated software and help you maintain it and do all the security checks and all the optimizations and everything else for you, essentially, not just like chatbots that can just do one-off things, essentially. I think that's going to be, we're going to look back probably to this interview and let's see how fast this is going to happen. To me, this is inevitable. Is it going to be the next decade that we're going to see 1 billion developers, or the next 5 years, or next 15 years? We'll see. But to me, that's an inevitable path that we're on, and it's going to create massive amount of sort of new, revenue streams, but job creations and prosperity for a lot of non-technical people, or people that are technical but not necessarily at the level to be able to build and deploy sophisticated software.
Well, Babak, I am so grateful you came on the show, shared many of your interesting business lessons, talked about your amazing product. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our viewers before we log off?
No, first of all, thank you, Vlad, for giving me the opportunity. And it's as a longtime fan, I'm very thankful to you to be here. But also, if we would love for people to check out our product, go to NinjaTech.ai or Google us. The product is located at super.myninja.ai. So super.myninja.ai. The product's name is Super Ninja, and give it a shot. Try it out. Give us feedback, and hopefully we can also help you build anything and automate everything.
Automate everything. All right, Babak. Well, thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.